Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hoopy 186 back again with another video. As you can see on the picture, on the left you have CM Punk, on the right you have Daniel Bryan. This picture's took place about a year or two ago, as you can see. The video that I'm doing today is going to be talking basically about both guys and in relation to what's been going on with WWE over the past week or so. Obviously, let's start with Daniel Bryan. You know, obviously, he's been very popular. He's the guy who's behind the yes chants, and you know the fans are behind this guy. Like, you know, there's no mistaking that. And the way that WWE has booked him in the past, and you know, ever since SummerSlam, has been perplexing to me and been perplexing to a lot of his fans. Now, let me start off by saying this: I am a Daniel Bryan fan. You know, I've been following his career ever since. Like, the first time I seen him do wrestle was in MLW, Major League Wrestling, which was a promotion that was started by the same people behind ECW. Like, if you look on YouTube, you look at if you find the taping somewhere of MLW or whatever, you see a lot of similarities to ECW, but it wasn't really. But you know, MLW's angle was more of blending different wrestling styles together, so it wasn't really just about hardcore wrestling like ECW. Yeah, you know, but you get what I'm saying. But you know, my first time I seen Daniel Bryan wrestle was on that show, and you know, obviously, you know, I have, you know, old Ring of Honor DVDs where he was on the first show, and you know, like, you know, I followed his career for a long time, so I am a big Daniel Bryan fan. But I'm not talking about WWE's fuck up of his push from a fan perspective. I'm talking about it from from logical pro wrestling standards. Now, you look at what happened with him at SummerSlam. He beat John Cena clean, and you know, he won the title, and then obviously Randy Orton came out, cashed in the briefcase, and won the title from him. I was okay with that. Because I thought that eventually it would lead to something that would, you know, that it would lead to something, you know, promising, and hopefully, you know, it would lead to Daniel Bryan winning the title. And that didn't happen. You had, you know, this constant, you know, screwy finish after screwy finish after screwy finish. You had Daniel Bryan, you know, lose his final opportunity at the title because of Shawn Michaels. You do one segment with Bryan and Michaels, and that was it. That was absolutely it. It didn't mean anything. Like, it didn't mean anything. And then, you know, Randy Orton, who's the champion. And listen, I don't have a problem with Randy Orton, but let's be real here. He hasn't been lighting the world on fire as champion. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been lighting the world on fire as champion, but yet when you talk about, oh well, Daniel Bryan doesn't bring ratings, he's the reason why the SummerSlam buy rates was a disappointment. Well, guys, it takes two to tango, and you look at the pattern in the ratings, at least up to you know, after that point. Everything was trending downward, and that was because Randy Orton, Randy Orton was champion at the time. He held the only title in that company that mattered, and you know, you see everything was trending downward. But yet, when it's Daniel Bryan, we want to talk about ratings, and he doesn't sell merchandise and all that other nonsense. So you look at everything that they put the Daniel Bryan character through. And, like, even though the fans still love him, I can't take him legitimately as a contender, especially after what happened at the Royal Rumble. Now, at the Royal Rumble, I haven't seen the match yet, but he had apparently an awesome match with Bray Wyatt. You know, he lost the fight. He lost the match clean, apparently, according to what I've heard. He lost the match clean, and he wasn't in the Royal Rumble match. And you look at a guy whose chant, the yes chant, is a phenomenon. Like, it's going around all over the place, and for WWE not to not only have their most like I don't want to say he's most popular. Well, yeah, he is their most popular star. And you know, even though obviously John Cena is their biggest star, like the popular and biggest are two different things, right? Obviously, John Cena is their biggest star. He gets a reaction no matter what, whether it's cheers or boos. He gets the biggest reaction. But there's no doubt about it that Daniel Bryan is their most popular act right now, and not only to have him lose at the Royal Rumble. And listen, I like the Bray Wyatt character, but let's be real about this. He lost to a Mick Carter, a former World Heavyweight Champion, as you can see right here, and a former WWE Champion that Daniel Bryan was for 2-3 minutes, but he was still a World Champion. He was still WWE Champion, and he lost to a Mick Carter on arguably their third biggest pay-per-view of the year. And then to add to the BS, he's not even in the Royal Rumble match. You know what I mean? Just imagine, would someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he was rising to the top, he would never have been booked that stupidly. Never been booked that stupidly. The Rock, when he was rising to the top, he was never booked this stupidly. You know, and you have guys like Big Show doing the yes chants when he was feuding with Randy Orton, and you honestly think that you would have another superstar around Steve Austin's level that would be doing his own mannerisms and stuff like that? No. Not same thing goes for The Rock. You wouldn't see anybody do that. And then even look at Batista. When Batista was rising up, when people were starting to get behind Batista, remember he was still with Evolution at the time, but everyone was cheering for him because they wanted to see him break away from Evolution. He was establishing himself as a singles character. And people knew it was coming, but you didn't see a superstar similar to him, do his mannerisms, you didn't see WWE constantly putting him in meaningless feuds, not putting him in this, not putting him in that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Look, again, I'll use the Batista angle again. When Batista was I forgot what. Okay. When Batista was moving up on the ranks, right? They put him in the Elimination Chamber. This was when the Elimination Chamber, if I'm not mistaken, was the Elimination Chamber was before the Royal Rumble, right? Batista was in that match, right? They set up Batista to be, not to win the match, obviously, but they set him up to be perhaps the most dominant figure in that match. To show the people that he was the biggest threat to Triple H's title, even though Triple H and him were virtually on the same team. Right? Then you had the Royal Rumble, which Batista won that Royal Rumble. He last eliminated John Cena. He won the Royal Rumble. Now, even if he didn't win the Royal Rumble, he would still look even remember, it was him and John Cena. Now, let's say if John Cena won that Rumble, it still would have made Batista look strong because he was the final two. And they could have done an angle where they would have showed Triple H kind of happy that John Cena won the Royal Rumble because now he didn't have to face Batista. Because in the back of his head, he thinks that Batista is a threat to him. You know what I mean? The way that they booked Batista, they made him look strong all throughout, his rise. And they haven't done the same thing to Daniel Bryan. They've treated him not so much they treat him like Mick Carter. And for a guy who's your most popular guy, it's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. It clearly doesn't make any sense. Now I do expect, and obviously, with this Royal Rumble, with this year's Royal Rumble, the crowd shat all over it. They shat all over the main event because nobody wants to see Randy Orton versus John Cena again. They shat all over the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble match. They shat all over the winner, which was Batista again. Batista won the Royal Rumble again, and they shat all over that. The fans don't want to fucking see a bunch of the same shit that they've been seeing for the last like 6-7 years. They want to see guys like Daniel Bryan ascend to the top, and they want to see guys like CM Punk ascend to the top. Now let me talk about CM Punk. Apparently he's done with the company. A lot of people think that it's a work. I personally I don't see it that way. Now let me start off by saying this. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, his in-ring work over the past few months because, like I said before, when Raw is on, I'm at work, so I don't get to watch Raw. And frankly, you know, with 3 hours, it's tough to watch, you know, because the show like really drags on in the middle portions of the show. But so there's been a couple people. I've seen a couple videos on this. I see a couple people are kind of shitting on his in-ring work and saying that he's looked disinterested, he looks lazy, and all that other stuff. And that stuff may be true, but there's no denying that that he speaks his mind. You know what I mean? He can be a prima donna at times. Like, there's no denying that. But when you listen to the interviews that he's done, and you look at, you know, where all this stems from, I can totally understand why he would quit. Now, obviously, he's under contract, so he's not gonna be able to do anything while his contract is still valid. Plus, WWE is probably going to give him like that whole 90-day treatment where once your contract is up, you can't go anywhere else, any wrestling promotion after 90 days. And listen, I know no one said this, but for any TNA diehards out there or TNA fans who think he would go to TNA, I highly doubt that would happen. One, they can't afford him, and two, like I don't think he would want to go there anyway. So take that out the equation. But you listen to what he's. I saw his interview with Ariel Helwani, and you know, like you look at, like, even though he didn't look frustrated, you know, like the stuff that he was saying, that, you know, you bring in these part-timers like The Rock, like Batista, and apparently like Sting, and you sign them to big contracts. They take up main event spots at WrestleMania, and you know, like I'm sure he wasn't happy about that. He wasn't happy about his character development. I can't blame him, because last year he was feuding with The Rock. He had a big WrestleMania match with The Undertaker, and this year he's in 3-on-1 handicap matches with The Shield, and he's feuding with Paul Heyman and guys like Curtis Axel, who sucks, and Ryback, who sucks. And he's having this meaningless feud with those guys, and I mean he's probably just burnt out also. So, you know, I don't, like, me personally, like my motto, my creed is that if you're not happy with something, just fucking leave. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not happy at a place and you can't take it anymore, just fucking leave. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not happy, make yourself happy. You know what I mean? And I don't blame him for quitting. You know what I mean? I totally understand. Now, obviously, no one knows what truly went down. Like, he has to kind of speak out and say, he probably already has, I don't know, but yeah, but you know, like, I have no problem with him quitting. Now, as far as what's going to happen with WrestleMania, I mean, I don't know. Like, my brother, he's a big WWE fan, so he'll probably order the pay-per-view. He's probably going to sign up to WWE Network. So I'm off Sunday, so I may be able to watch it. I'm off on Sunday, so I'll be able to watch it. So we'll see what happens. But I don't want to see I don't want to see Batista in the main event, period. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see him in the main event, period. But, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, that's pretty much it. You know, I kind of rambled on long enough. But, you know, just my thoughts. You know, pretty much that's about it, man. But Hoovy186, I'm out of here. Follow me on follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Both links are gonna be below. Anyways, Hoovy186, I'm out of here.